In a cozy corner of a nearby restaurant, a stubborn little boy refused to drink his juice, which worried and confused his father. As the atmosphere grew tense, something strange occurred. When the father tried the juice, the situation went from a simple disagreement to a spooky mystery, creating a sense of fear in the air. Watch till the end to uncover the full story. "Mommy, I really don't like this juice," Lucas said again. His father sighed, and he decided he'd finish it instead. However, as soon as he tasted it, he knew Lucas was in trouble. There was something in his juice that shouldn't be there. He knew he needed to act quickly, but no matter what he did, their visit to this restaurant was going to end in complete chaos. Minutes later, an ambulance arrived, and Lucas's father even thought about calling the police. But first, he needed to make sure his son was all right. The family of three had never expected their dinner to end like this. It was definitely a more eventful night than they had been hoping for. But what was wrong with the juice? Why did they call the ambulance? Why was Lucas in trouble? "One pizza margarita and a glass of juice for this little guy, please," Samson told the waiter. He was trying out a new restaurant that had recently opened in town with his wife, Alana, and their son, Lucas. They decided to check it out, and so far, they were impressed. The restaurant looked beautiful. The waiters were all very kind and friendly, and everything seemed perfect. There was not one reason for them to suspect their visit would end as badly as it did, in absolute chaos. We'll get to that part soon, though. Samson, Alana, and Lucas enjoyed a pleasant dinner outing, discussing their day and plans to visit family. The weather was lovely, offering the possibility of a post-dinner stroll or relaxing time in the garden. Their meal arrived promptly, looking and smelling delightful. Each bite was a treat, except for Lucas, who didn't like his juice. Despite a few sips, Lucas refused to drink more, prompting Alana to remind him about dessert. Unwilling to compromise, Lucas claimed the juice made his mouth feel strange. Concerned, Samson tried the juice and immediately understood Lucas's reluctance. He regretted not checking the juice sooner and felt a surge of worry and anger towards himself. Although tempted to confront the kitchen staff, Samson focused on supporting his family. He was determined to hold the restaurant accountable for the mistake. Later, he would ensure they understood the gravity of their error. As they navigated this unexpected challenge, Samson, Alana, and Lucas remained a united front, ready to face whatever came their way. Despite the incident, the family found solace in their bond, cherishing each other's company and their ability to overcome adversity together. The experience served as a reminder to always remain vigilant and prioritize their son's safety above all else. Meanwhile, Alana still hadn't found what she was looking for, so eventually she just turned her bag upside down of the empty table next to theirs and dropped the whole content of her bag on it. Her plan had worked because within the next few seconds, she found what she was looking for, an EpiPen. "Daddy, I can't breathe," Lucas said with his hands on his throat. His parents had both stood up, and his father was holding him while his mother was getting everything ready to help. It was pure chaos for a couple of seconds, but once it was done, they could all sit down and breathe to calm down a little. Lucas could breathe again, and he realized he recognized that feeling before he'd had an allergic reaction. "You're okay now, buddy. We just need to get you to a doctor to check on you. But you're okay. How do you feel?" his dad asked. "Okay, Daddy. I just really didn't like that juice," Lucas replied. Alana was still on the phone with a 911 emergency dispatcher, explaining what had happened and telling her that they needed immediate medical assistance. "An ambulance is on its way," the dispatcher said. Now that Lucas was all right and help was on the way, Samson finally jumped up and approached the waiter, asking to speak to their manager. "Sure, follow me, sir," the waiter replied. Not even a minute later, Samson and the waiter were standing in front of a closer door. It was the manager's office. The waiter had knocked on it a couple of times already, but nobody opened it yet. "Looks like Mr. Nelson's not here at the moment, sir," the waiter said to Samson. "Well, do you know when he'll be back, and can you call him? I really need to speak to him about something important. My son could have died at this restaurant," Samson said. "I have no time, and this can't wait. Is there anyone else I could speak to about the matter?" he asked. He spent the next few minutes walking around the restaurant, approaching every single waiter he saw. When finally a voice behind him said, "Sir, I heard you were looking for me." It was the manager. Samson finally started. "Mr. Nelson, do you have any idea what happened here today?" "I'm going to sue you," he said. He explained they had double-checked all the ingredients of everything they ordered because Lucas was allergic to some foods and obviously someone made a mistake. However, the manager was very rude and uninterested. "Well, I've only hired humans to work in my kitchen, and they sometimes make mistakes," he responded. Samson did not want to go back to the restaurant, and he decided to leave a terrible review and share their story online instead. It received many comments and likes, and people started sharing his story. Luckily, Lucas was fine and he'd recover in no time. He was a little shocked, but he was thankful his parents had helped him. One rushed to Lucas, carefully examining him and asking Alana about his condition. Lucas was delicately placed on a stretcher, and the automatic doors of the hospital slid open as the stretcher carrying Lucas was wheeled in. A swarm of white-coated professionals encircled him. Dr. Roberts, a seasoned pediatrician, quickly took stock of the situation, his brow furrowed with concentration, and he reached for a familiar device. Without a moment's hesitation, he administered another dose from an EpiPen into Lucas's thigh. After what felt like hours, Dr. Roberts approached the couple, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Lucas responding well to the treatment, he began immediately alleviating some of their distress. He's showing strong signs of recovery. We just like to keep him under observation just to be certain. Samson clenched his fist, the anger evident in his voice. We've always been so careful, always check labels, always inform staff, Alana added, her voice trembling. Everywhere we go, we always make sure they know about Lucas's allergies. Alana's eyes, red-rimmed from tears and exhaustion, held a steely determination. We need answers. We trusted that restaurant, Samson nodded. They need to explain how such a grave mistake occurred. They wouldn't rest until they unraveled the mystery of what had put their son's life in such great danger. The restaurant's facade looked no different than before, but for Samson, everything changed. His footsteps grew heavier as he approached the entrance. As Samson entered, he immediately spotted the waiter who served them. Without hesitation, he marched up to him, his voice forceful, demanding to speak to the manager. Mr. Nelson, looking somewhat apprehensive, approached Samson. I trusted you. Samson began, his voice quivering with emotion. Your establishment I trusted with my family, and look where that got us. He recounted the harrowing events, emphasizing the severity of the situation. You have a responsibility, he said, pointing a finger at Mr. Nelson, not just to serve food, but to ensure safety. For a while, Mr. Nelson held his defensive posture, but as Samson's words sank in, I can't change what happened, he admitted, but you're right, we made a grave mistake. The first step to redemption was admitting the error, and it seemed Mr. Nelson was ready to do so. His previously brusque demeanor seemed to soften as he took a deep breath, looking genuinely remorseful. I'm truly sorry for what happened to Lucas, he began, his voice laden with regret. As they looked deeper into what happened, they discovered a troubling detail. We found out that a new staff member accidentally added an ingredient to the juice, Mr. Nelson admitted. He paused before revealing it was a banana. Still shocked by the experience, Samson shared the story on social media, describing every scary moment at the restaurant. Samson's post quickly gained attention online. Many people shared it, and there were lots of comments. Parents understood, people were shocked, and some vowed never to go to the restaurant again. The restaurant's management realized how serious it was and quickly apologized. We're very sorry for what happened, and we're doing everything we can to make sure it never happens again, they said. Back at home, the memory of what happened started to fade, but Samson and Alana didn't forget. They found comfort in each other, grateful for their bond with Lucas. Despite everything going well, they were always careful. Every time they went out, they made sure everyone knew about Lucas' allergies. They carried cards about allergies and made sure Lucas knew how to handle his condition. The incident taught them an important lesson, to always be careful and protect their precious son.